Hey everybody. I just wanted to jump on into a quick little discussion about operant conditioning in an effort to try to help with your assignment that's due this Sunday. So, first of all, the difference between classical conditioning and operant conditioning, very quickly, is that classical conditioning is something that happens to you, it's involuntary. So, for example, if you are attacked by a dog, you don't there's no decision process. The next time that you see a dog barking at you, that fearful reaction is automatic. And that's classical conditioning. With operant conditioning, you make choices and choose behaviors based on the outcomes that those behaviors have had in the past. So say for example, let's use the one of the examples from the correlation experiment that you did before. Remember the attendance experiment. And so they had one teacher reward students with points. They had one teacher, when they attended, they had one teacher take points away. They had one teacher give extra homework. I can't remember what all the situations were. That is a great example of operant conditioning. So with operant conditioning, remember that reinforcement always makes a behavior more likely to happen in the future. So if a consequence is reinforcing, it means we like it, whether it's a positive reinforcement or a negative reinforcement. We'll talk about that in a second. If it's a punishment, it's going to make a behavior less likely to happen in the future. Positive and negative, in this case, I want you to think like a mathematician. Positive and negative mean you add something. If it's positive, you're adding something. If it's negative, you're taking something away. So if you're going to positively reinforce someone, praising them or giving them extra points is an example of a positive reinforcement because you're adding and it's something good. So assuming that the recipient likes the praise or the extra points, they're going to be more likely to engage in that behavior in the future. And so it's a positive reinforcer. You can also negatively reinforce something. So students used to ask me, hey, Ms. T, if we have an A in the course when it's time for the final exam, does that mean we don't have to take the final exam? Because that's what some local high schools, at the time, it was their overall policy. And no, that wasn't the case, but that's a great example of a negative reinforcer because you're taking away, negative, something that the person sees as bad. So for some reason, you guys don't seem to like final exams. So taking away that final exam, you're taking away the bad thing. But that's going to make, if your goal is to have a student be conscientious and do good work, that's a great consequence, that negative reinforcement. You can also have positive punishment. So if you nag somebody, if you lecture somebody, if you give them extra work, as a result of a behavior that you would like to not happen anymore, you're adding something. So the nagging, the lecture, the extra work, whatever, you're adding something bad. You can also, I don't know about you guys, but I certainly remember being grounded as a teenager. You can negatively punish somebody by taking away something good. So if you, ignore your curfew and come home an hour late, there's a good chance that you're not going to have access to the car next week. So so the negative punishment is the taking away of the car. So negative, you're taking away something good, the access to the car. So those are the consequences that I want you to be thinking about when you're addressing that assignment. So just remember, reinforcement always makes a behavior more likely to happen in the future. Punishment makes it less likely to happen in the future. Positive is good. No, sorry, I screwed up. Positive means you're adding something, negative means you're taking something away. And just be thoughtful. In real life application, there's always the possibility that we think something is going to be a reinforcer or we think something's going to be a punisher, but for that individual, it's the opposite. So I have an exercise that I have students do sometimes, and one of the examples is you've got an art student who is doing this extra work, and when the teacher sees it, they praise that extra work, and slowly but surely the student starts doing less and less and less. So it may be for that student that the attention that they've received, or the feedback that they've received, they experience as not good. And so the more of it they get, the less they engage in that behavior. So it kind of backfires. Same thing, think about if you're gonna suspend somebody from school. If you suspend somebody who sees the value and wants to be in school, then yes, suspension is a negative punishment, right? Because you're taking away the opportunity to be in school. If somebody really does not want to be in school at all, and they engage in behavior and you suspend them, then they may see that as a negative reinforcement, because for them, being in school is a bad thing. So that's a negative reinforcer, and it's going to make them more likely to engage in that same behavior again, the one that resulted in them being suspended. So that's it. If you guys have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out and let me know. And if there's anything else you would like me to hop on and discuss, I would be more than happy to. In the meantime, have a good one. I'll see you soon. Bye.